Hello.
Hello, hello.
And welcome to another episode of
The Gabfest.
Oh, you see, I'm starting to get backup singers here. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Gabfest. And today we're gonna do things. We are still gonna ask how was your day, but we're gonna ask you to keep it as short as possible so that we can get into the topic. But before we ask you how was your day, not your day, your week.
Yeah.
We'd like to introduce our special guest for today, who is professional nurse.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
I almost said what we call you, Camellia Jonathan.
Yes.
And she, like I said, is a professional nurse, and she'll be helping us on the topic today based on the side of the law. So, you know, we always like to gab. Today we have someone in that says, but actually this is the rules, this is the stats, this is the this and that and that.
Can I ask a very off-topic question?
Yeah.
I noticed that you have a piercing.
Yes.
I'm all about piercings, but like people always ask about like the profession. How do people feel about? Do they mention it at all?
No, they don't actually. You know, I always say that my piercings and my tattoos, they have nothing to do with what I can do. So if you look at me and you see my piercing, I have a tongue ring as well. If you look at me and you don't see a professional person or the way I treat you doesn't display professionalism, then I'm doing my job totally wrong. Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
Please will you just lift your mic a little bit so that they can hear you lekker. But do you now told us about her tattoos and her piercings.
Sorry, guys.
Please tell us. No, there's nothing wrong. It's an intro. Please tell us, who are you, and basically, what do you do? Who is Mila?
Yes.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. So as
Yeah, say whatever you want to say.
In the
Ben
nicknames.
said that they call me Mila, they really do. It's one of my nicknames. I'm a professional nurse. I studied for 4 years at the Northwest University in Porch campus.
Sorry, that's my fault.
Um,
Comments.
so it's a grueling course. It's you put a lot of work in it. It's a lot of hours. In order to obtain your degree, you need to work 4,000 hours over the course of 4 years.
Are you trying to fly a plane and just asking for a
Technically speaking,
My
yes.
body's more important than the plane.
friend, guys?
So we learn about everything and everything. So for me, at this current point in time, I work in the Obs and Gynae unit. I'm very passionate about it. So this is why I'm actually, more interested in this conversation that we're going to have
And
today.
your main goal is to be a pediatrician.
Yes, I want to get there one day.
I just wish it happened really much sooner, like 5 years ago. It would have made our lives easier 5 years ago.
Why? What is wrong with your gynae?
No, so that she could have family.
Family discount.
Okay, so Claire, how was your day?
Good.
Your week? Sorry.
Yeah, no. Whenever I get, I'm like, what happened this week? I think it was good. Yeah, I'm keeping it short.
Short and sweet. That's your week?
Fine.
Fine.
We were told keep it short. It was
Like,
good. It was
seriously
sunny.
fine.
Weather terms, it was sunny.
It was a good week. My week was really good as well.
Thanks
Really
for
hoping
asking.
for school to. Really hoping for school
Guys,
to
when is
open.
school opening?
Next week.
No. Guys, we are counting down the hours. Let me give you the hours of when school is opening.
For split seconds. Okay. But anyway, into the topic for today, we are speaking, if you don't know yet, we are speaking about abortion today, right? So the reason, Gabfest does the whole whatever's trending, but specifically towards women only. We never jump into anything that has nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
And we gab around the table while drinking a cup of coffee. Or sometimes cocktails in summer.
Yeah.
And just speak
Flavored water.
on the topic. So today we're going to be speaking about the law side of it and stuff like that as well. But more specifically, just in general, why it's trending on Instagram, on Twitter, and everything at the moment because of the Roe and versus Wade case. We're not going to speak about their case, but that is what inspired today's topic because social media went crazy since
In all
this.
Yeah.
spheres, actually. In
feel like it's
all
still
countries.
Every single country just went But South Africa doesn't really have. I mean, it can be Women's Month, and in America is a war month or
Yeah,
something,
something
and
along
we
those
all
lines.
celebrating war month, and it's like, have you forgotten about our own people?
Yeah, no.
But so we're going to jump right into it. Oh, before we jump right into it, as an intro, I'm starting to add this in the beginning. So if you can put on the screen right now. If you did not know, Gabfest obviously is part of the Inside Show, but Gabfest is not the only show on the Inside Show. On Mondays, we have... Is it showing on the screen, though? Online. Okay. So on a Monday, we have Morning Shake with Xavier. On a Tuesday, that's at 9 a.m. On a Tuesday, we have... Help me now, because it's not there. What's on a Tuesday? The Full Circle. With Tessa Dooms. On a Wednesday, we have with Lee, the Wednesday warm-up. This is all at 9 o'clock. On a Thursday, we have Talk with Joan Thursdays at 9 o'clock as well. And on a Friday, we're the only show at the moment that's running at 12 o'clock, and that is the Gabfest. So... thank you so much for joining us. Please do subscribe and go and watch the other shows as well if you're interested. Everybody has their own target market, but sometimes you can dabble into whatever depending what you're feeling for the day. So please do go and support the rest of the Inside shows
And you don't have
as
to
well.
tune in live.
Yeah, you can watch it
You can
after.
always watch it afterwards. So let's jump right into the topic, right?
Let's.
So I've said this is what's trending. It's the abortion thing. It's everything. So Mila over here is just gonna, because I feel like before we can give opinions, let's know what the actual law is. So we do know in the USA, the reason why this is a massive thing is because it is now illegal in many states. Abortion is illegal in many states, and people are just going, hey, why? How can it be abortion? It's our body. It's this women's rights. We throwing every kind of right into it at the moment. But from a South African side, it's actually legal in South Africa for more than 20 years now. Mela is just going to go through a few what do you call it?
It's the Choice of Termination of Pregnancy Act.
So this is the act, just so that you know. Go right into it.
Yes. So, circumstances in conditions under which pregnancies may be terminated. A pregnancy may be terminated upon request of a woman during the first 12 weeks of a gestation period of a pregnancy, from the 13th week up and including the 20th week of gestation period, if a medical practitioner, after consultation with another or with a consultation of a pregnant woman, then she can terminate the pregnancy if they are of the opinion of that the pregnancy would pose a risk of injury to the woman's physical or mental health. There exists a substantial risk that the fetus would suffer from severe physical or mental abnormalities. The pregnancy is resulted from rape or incest. The continued pregnancy would significantly affect the social or economic circumstances of the woman. So after the 20th week, that's month 6, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, yeah, 5.
Me just
5.
believing you. Okay.
Month
I'm like
5,
on my
yes.
fingers. Like.
4, 12, yes. After month 5, then the medical practitioner that you do see has to consult with another medical practitioner while engaging you.
Like second opinion.
Second opinion type of vibes, yes. That the reason to terminate the pregnancy would be it endangers your life significantly, or there are severe malformations of the fetus, or it would pose a risk of injury to the fetus. So, and all this needs to be performed by a trained medical profession.
Is there a specific doctor that does this?
You need to be trained.
Trained specifically.
Yes.
So,
Specifically
so
after
you're
your
telling me there's a
studies.
specific doctor
So it's not just
who
gynae.
just
No.
does this?
Okay.
Gynae is a speciality.
Yeah.
So you do your MBCHB, you study 6 years, do your 2 years internship, and then you do your ComServe year, and then you can decide if you want to go specialize in whatever field
Yeah.
you want to do. The same with a professional nurse as well. You do your 4 years, you do your ComServe year, and then you can decide whether you want to specialize in a certain field.
So I'm asking, is this, if you do this act, are they specialized
they are specialized
Yeah,
in.
because in our mind, like
In my
a
mind, just a
gynecologist.
nurse.
No,
Okay, because like for us, like a gynecologist, obstetrician. How do you say the word?
Yeah,
And
obs.
obs and gynae.
Yes.
What they do is they deliver the baby. They see that the baby's
Yes,
arms and
yes,
legs
yes.
are formed. So in my mind, they take the baby out. So when the baby is ready to be born.
Yes.
So do they not perform abortions because they taking the baby out most?
Yeah,
Just earlier
it's-
than
And
this.
also when it's like very early stages.
very early stages, yes. But it needs to be performed by a
Professional.
Specializing.
not
Special.
not
What's their
necessarily.
name? Can I
They,
ask?
they don't have a specific name for it. You
just
just
an
need to
Because
abortionist.
nobody wants to
An
go around
abortionist.
saying, I do
If no
this.
one's giving them a name.
They don't have a name. It's like it's a short course you go through. Maybe during while you are working, you can do it part time, full time, depending on the facility you are at.
So if I decide tomorrow that I want to be, as per my opinion, an abortionist,
Yes.
I can go and I can study this short course and then.
No, I think you have to be a nurse
You
first.
need to be a nurse first or a doctor. Yes, you can't
I was
just.
just about to say, where are you going now?
I'm asking,
No,
it's a short course.
it's a short course. Yes, but you need you do need
you're
a
already a
medical background.
professional.
Yes.
I'm just asking for a friend, most, just making sure we've got
asking
our
for a
facts
friend.
straight, yeah.
Okay. Can you go on to the next thing? Who is
Yes.
allowed?
So,
Under what? Yeah.
under what conditions a pregnancy can be terminated, right? So, up to 12 weeks and 6 days of your pregnancy. That's the first 3 months of the pregnancy. A registered and trained medical professional, which is a doctor in cases, a registered and trained nurse. There's a difference between a nurse and a trained midwife. So, can I go into that quickly?
Yeah. 'Cause
So,
I don't know what
yeah.
that. Yeah.
So a registered nurse is just without the little bars with this. Yes. So then a registered midwife has the green bar,
Okay, so
Yes.
there's a bit of more training going on
a
there.
bit of more training.
Okay.
And,
What is a midwife? I've heard lots of people have midwives when they're pregnant.
yes, a midwife can do your delivery.
She's like a birth coach or something.
So,
Or
along
is
those
that-
lines.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a bit.
Oh, that's a doula, isn't
yeah.
it?
So when
Yeah.
my sister was born at home, so she had a midwife. So the
Yes.
lady just came in and delivered
Deliver
the
the
baby.
baby. Yes.
Okay.
But they support you throughout the pregnancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
You have facilities around South Africa who are midwife led. That from the get go, from your pregnancy starts.
That's the kind of money I'm trying to have when I have kids.
I was looking into one. It was called Genesis, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
the
No promo,
clinic.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah, the
yes,
clinic,
yes.
yeah. But it's a nice hotel experience and all that. But you gotta have some grit when you wanna do these things
Yes,
natural.
you need to have some grit. It's a painful process.
Yeah.
She was meaning you need the money to do that.
No, and the pain.
And the pain.
The pain was the thing. You gotta have some grit. That was
you
my
need to,
thing.
yes. So, a registered and trained nurse, a registered and trained midwife, and this from 12 weeks upon the request of the woman. And woman, I mean from the start of puberty. So, if your child is
As long
at-
as you have your period.
yeah, from 10 years old and they are busy, they can request a abortion
Without consent.
consent from the parents.
Okay.
But the law does state
Did you
that
just say 10 years old and busy?
yes,
Okay.
Yes.
Go on quickly. We'll get into that.
we'll get into that. From 10 years old up until menopause, you can request an abortion from 12 weeks 6 days. That's the cutoff point where you don't have to give a reason as to why you want to do an abortion. We as health professionals,
Not allowed to ask.
we know,
Or what?
you know, in we need to build rapport with the patient. So we ask you questions, ask what your life is like, what are you doing, are you in school, what have you, if you're unemployed, are you getting grant from the state, or you know. So we need to first build a rapport with the patient, and then we need to refer you to the proper medical facility that does abortions. So in my opinion, even if I'm against it, I can't just say, no, I don't want to see you.
You
I
have
need
to
to
do it.
refer you either to my colleague who's willing to see you, and if I don't want to see you, I need to refer you to a clinic or a hospital that can do the
Can assist.
yeah,
So can I ask, if a woman comes in, no matter her age, and she's with,
with child.
yeah, and a male figure that looks like he's pressuring her to have the
To
abortion.
have an abortion.
Yeah. How do you guys deal with that? Does it happen?
It does happen, but depending, you can't delve too much into people's personal lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's
No feelings involved.
No feelings. There's really no feelings involved. I always say this profession took away my empathy at some point in time. So you need to establish who is this person with this lady, and then further on go from there. And sometimes we do ask the gentleman to leave the room so we can speak one-on-one with the lady.
Yeah.
Because if you have an external factor there who's pressurizing you and you're like, I really do want to keep this child, but 1, 2, 3, then we can refer you to a psychologist, a social worker, anyone in our profession that can help you take the proper steps before you make a decision such as this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And sorry, I have another question. Do you guys provide counseling afterwards, or is it just
No, we provide, it's pre and post counseling, so we do provide counseling beforehand, telling you what's going to happen, how it's going to happen. If the medication that we give doesn't work, then we do a MVA.
That can happen?
Yes. So if the medication does not work that we give you, then we have to extract the fetus.
Yeah. What's the reason it doesn't work? Or is it different with everyone?
It's different with everyone. It's all about your body.
Yeah.
Seems like some people fall pregnant on the ball.
Yes. It's all about your body. So
that would be a sign. No?
A sign to keep.
Yeah. I would be.
You're supposed to keep. Either way. Okay.
Yeah.
So before we go in any further, I would like, if possible, Lee, if you can put the fruits on, and then can you just explain the fruits?
Yeah.
And then why you wanted us to see the fruits.
So with our period trackers that we have nowadays, and sometimes our pregnancy
Sorry.
our pregnancy trackers we have.
Will you just turn your screen slightly so that they can see on the side?
So we're not imagining.
Oh, the size of the baby.
Yes. Yes, Uncle.
So is it on the screen?
No way.
Okay, it's on the screen.
There we go. So baby at 1 month, I think this is what is this?
It looks like
A grape.
A grape.
Yeah. And that's a cherry at 2 months. At 3 months, it's like,
A grape. Eggplant.
yes. Then 4 months, it's a pear. 5 months, it's around an orange. I don't know what this fruit is. At
Yeah,
6
that's a
months.
funny name. I can see the fruit, but
Yes.
name is not make sure.
7 months, it's about the size of a pineapple. 8 months, I don't know what that is also. I'm so sorry. I don't
looks
know
like a
my
pumpkin.
it looks like a pumpkin.
I don't
yeah.
know my fruits or
And then-
vegetables.
Clearly.
Clearly, I don't. And then at 9 months, the size of a watermelon. Sometimes it's bigger or smaller.
So why did you want us to see what a baby looks like?
So
at
3
those-
months, it's the size of a grapefruit. I think that's a grapefruit.
Which one?
No,
An
isn't a
eggplant.
grapefruit orange?
An eggplant. Did I say
No.
grapefruit?
No, you said an eggplant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like an eggplant.
No, it's a plum. Sorry,
It's a plum.
it's a plum.
Okay. Guys, I wear glasses. Don't listen to me.
Don't judge me either. I'm also
Judge her, don't judge me.
I think that is actually a grape.
You think so?
I saw here it says 9 weeks is a grape.
Yeah.
But a cherry is bigger than a could be lying.
Let's just go for
Yes. Let's see what they say.
Okay.
So this
I
is
think it's a plum. The books I've had, there was an example of,
of a plum. Yes.
Yeah.
So at 3 months,
My
it's the size
pregnancy
of,
Bible.
of a plum, and then you go there to what I say. We can request without reason as to why we wanna abort the plum.
And that picture you can see it's a proper human.
It's a proper human. It's already formed. It has a heartbeat. It has a heartbeat from 4 weeks.
This is
From 4
disturbing.
weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a heartbeat.
Yes, there's a
At
heartbeat.
4 weeks,
At
so
4
there's
weeks,
life.
There's life.
Not that I'm saying that there's
I
not
can
life
see where the
at point of
opinions
con-
are leaning
Yes.
towards.
Conception.
Yeah.
But you know,
Conception, I
with
mean.
each pregnancy, it's different. Sometimes you hear the heartbeat a bit later, sometimes a bit earlier. But from 4 weeks on, you do
There's
hear
already a
there's
heartbeat.
already a heartbeat. Yes.
With that picture, just to see that in 3 months, it's actually a baby.
Yeah.
The picture is a baby. It doesn't just look like the little
It doesn't look
alien
like- no,
anymore.
no.
Yeah.
Or alien. So my question is, just for the people watching and that, the reason why the law is there is because they see it as murder. Is that?
In America.
Yeah.
Well,
Is someone's... Oh.
no, nobody's phone.
I'm not sure for the...
For-
Is it? I'm actually not sure why
Yeah.
they did it.
Well,
I think-
well, yes, the pro-life,
The pro-lifers,
pro-life
yeah.
views it as murder. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
However, the pro-abortion view it as your human right
To say what happens
to
to
take
your
someone
body.
else.
Okay, so perfect. You asking that question because now we're going to go into the first topic, right? In terms of the claiming. So through all of this, right, I've done so many videos, I've read so many research articles, I've read so many things, and it's safe to say majority is for abortion on people who stem their opinion, basically, who raise their opinion. The people that don't raise their opinion, I'm assuming they're the ones that if we keep quiet, they'll know what we stand for. But there's not many people actually saying, I think this is wrong. More the people that is loud about it is the people that is, what's wrong with it? Right?
Yeah.
Which is also wrong. I think that people, if you think it's wrong, also make as much noise as the pro do.
The pro-life.
So one of the main things that came up, and I want to ask you guys what's your opinion about this, is women is targeting, you know, we always say on the show, the issue of self-love, self-care, it's self-love. So many people is jumping on it's self-love if I make a decision that my life will somewhat be ruined if I go on with this. It's self-love that my mental situation will be intact if I make the situation because I didn't want this child. So it's going to affect my mental health. You know, we're jumping on the mental health. Everything apparently today is mental health.
Yeah.
So we blame mental health on everything. I wanted to ask you guys, what's your opinion on this fact that people is blaming? I think there's nothing wrong with abortion because it's for the sake of my well-being, it's my mental health, and it's me loving myself.
So on that, my opinion, I'm not speaking as a professional now. We're taking that away. We're moving my certificate to one side. Okay. Not my degree to one side.
Yes, girl.
I worked very hard for it. Personally speaking, I am against abortion.
Okay.
I mean, we all go into things sometimes sober-mindedly. If a mistake happens, right? And if so be it, there's a seed that was planted during this mistake process, then unfortunately, it's your decision. You need to live with it, right? But on the other hand, also, I'm like, it's like I said, it's two sides of a very controversial coin. If you were raped or it was via incest, or, you know, when we go out, there's always a possibility of you being date raped, right? So it doesn't even matter if you go to a fancy restaurant or if you're going to go to the club or if you are going on a coffee date.
It can even be in your house, someone breaks in.
Even in your own house. We're not safe anywhere in our country currently. So if it's due to that, then I do take sympathy with the people who be like, I don't want to raise my rapist's child. You know, in that sense, I do agree with them. I do take pity on them at some point in time. But personally speaking, if it happened, I would not go for an abortion.
I agree with that. Like, if I had to fall pregnant, I don't see myself being able to do that. I don't think that, like you were saying, there are special circumstances where it's a better decision. But I also feel like we need to go back to like birth control and education on those things first, like to prevent all of this from happening in the first place. Can I
Anka, before you jump in on the topic of birth control, some people do use medical termination of pregnancy or consensual as birth control.
That sounds traumatic.
But that's exactly why people are fighting for abortion rights, so that they can control their pregnancy, their unwanted pregnancy. And I think just to go back to what Vanj said in terms of the self-love, and I've said this on previous shows before, that where do we draw the line for self-love? Because now we're just becoming selfish and entitled.
Yes.
So, okay, fine, I am entitled to live my life the way I do. However, the child, my unborn child, doesn't have a right to life. That's a whole person. So I'm battling with what is the difference with just cold-blooded murder, like you walking on the street and walking up to someone and just slitting their throat, or dismembering them. I mean, isn't that what abortion is? I'm just asking, like, the process. I don't know. I'm very not clued up on that. I'd rather not like to know, but I'm just saying, what is the difference between an actual person who murders someone on the street and you taking a defenseless life, because it's life.
It's life.
It's life.
Okay, so can I jump in there? Before 12 weeks, if we don't give steroids to help, strengthen the baby's lungs, before 12 weeks, the pregnancy is not viable if that baby is born. Okay. So it doesn't matter what interventions you take. You can intubate the baby can be on a vent for 3, 4, 5 months, but the quality of life for that child afterwards is not, the best. And considering that most of our people are unemployed, we don't all have fancy lifestyles. We don't have the means, some of us don't have the means to look after our own children at a certain stage in our lives. So considering the what do I say now? How do I say it?
The social ills that we deal with.
Yeah, the social ills we deal with. To let a child go in there already knowing that things are already haywire as they are. Now we're sitting with a child who has hydrocephalus, heart conditions.
So can I just interject there? So what you're saying is that when abortion takes place
in the 12 weeks.
In the 12 weeks, it's basically you induced and you give birth to a 12-week-old baby. What would the fetus would have been in your womb? You give birth to that.
You give birth to that, yes.
Okay, so it's not a dismemberment.
It's not a dismemberment of any sort.
Unless you do the backyard.
Yes.
There they literally scrape it out.
They scrape it out of you, yes. Using very unsanitary tools.
Yeah. I watched somebody actually give a testimony about how bad her situation was, that later on when she did want kids and she went to the doctor, she found out she actually had cancer, and that's why she wasn't falling pregnant. And then the cancer was caused based on the fact that they said it looked like somebody literally took a fork and scraped the whole inside of her womb.
Oh my God.
So that's what caused the cancer. And then later found out they did use a fork, and they used the normal vacuum machine.
What?
To get the...
Yeah, it's the vacuum we use is legit.
It's not
it's like a vacuum machine.
The amount of
but,
goosebumps.
but it's not a vacuum machine.
Yeah,
you understand. So it's designed specifically for that part of extracting the...
But I'm sure it's
And then
sterile.
what do you do with
I'm sure
it?
it's cleansed and
Just
sterilized.
discard.
We discard it in a red bucket and then it goes to be incinerated.
So for me, I would say, in terms of if we speak about the self-love, I think it has a lot to do with the younger generation not knowing how to take, because we allow them to voice their opinion so much, that we take away so much responsibility from people and use the term self-love. In my eyes, personally, I am also somebody that I'm against abortion, but then, like you said, I do have pity for somebody. If I had been raped, would I be okay raising someone else's child? But then I would also still think about the implications that what if I did fall pregnant? When I listen to so many testimonies, people are scarred for life after an abortion. Even after they get their kids that they wanted, their mind still focuses on that baby, what could have been, how would they have looked, all those kind of things. So I feel like as much as it's, like you said, it's a coin.
It's a coin.
As much as
Very
you went
controversial
through
coin,
the situation, it could be like, how do you then deal with it afterwards? And I feel that the responsibility of somebody, like you say, if it was not rape and it was, I don't even want to call it a mistake, because your pregnancy is not a mistake. You opened your legs, you had a lack of time.
Yes.
The minute you decided to have a nice time, you obviously opened up yourself to fall pregnant, right? So I feel like we need to get to a stage where we stop blaming self-love for being irresponsible. Because what happens is
And selfish.
You know my morals. I tell you every week on the show, I do believe in marriage before sex. I do believe those certain things, and it's not because of being a Christian. I just feel that it adds so much baggage to a relationship. I believe it adds a lot of, there we can go, mental health. Don't tell me about me being pregnant affects my mental health. So for me personally, I feel like if you want to have a nice time and continue to have a nice time, let's not blame self-love in terms of I don't want to be responsible for someone else because I'm still enjoying my life. And that's what a lot of people are actually saying. When I listened to some people, they were literally saying the reason why I would have keep in mind, all these people that is going like that have actually not had an abortion before. It's people that have no experience on the emotional outcome, the physical pain, all those kind of things that you go through. And then I was so surprised by one person that actually did a whole thing about why they believe in it, because they said that they enjoying life at the moment, and they don't want something to attach them to somebody for life.
For life. I was watching this one interview, and this lady she's 20 years old, and she's extremely terrified because they the abortion act was now whatever, and she's extremely terrified. Why is she terrified? Because it has become a social and economic issue. It's not become an issue of I was raped, whatever. I can have an abortion if I'm struggling with my social issues, or I don't want an attachment like that. That's how it's sold. I just want to quickly bring this in. It's just short. If we were talking about rape, you're looking at, so this is obviously American stats. We must know how great our country is with stats. Rape cases or incest cases is 0.3% of the abortions why people try to go. It's 95%, that's now excluding all the other reasons why. 95% of that is economic and social reasons. So don't tell me it's about, what about the person that got raped? What about the person that has a deformed child? 95% of that is merely because I wasn't ready. If I know I'm not ready, why am I doing big people's things?
Why am I not taking the precautions? Because our government facilities, even though sometimes our government can be a bit...
Now, what to stand in that clinic for so long just for 30 tablets?
Exactly, for 30 tablets of trifazole, or, we have things in place for
30 minutes and
people
9 months in a lifetime later. I'm just
18 years.
We have things in place for that. We have a Depo-Provera, we have Noestrate, we have Implanon, where they put in an implant in your arm that lasts for 3 to 5 years, depending on the brand the government has available. Then we have an IUD, which there's something they place in your womb. We have sterilization. We have not sterilization is but extreme.
But
for some of us that have kids already,
you're done.
You want to go
don't want that.
But here's where I'm saying Planned Parenthood, because people are going Planned Parenthood, and you that are so pro-life, then birth control shouldn't be a thing for you either. And the reality of the matter is, I'm married. I've got 2 kids. I'm set. I'm done. We don't live back in the day where we had farms and we needed our kids to work the land. We're not there anymore. We're here where we have to provide for our kids, And for me right now, I'm done having kids. So yes, sterilization is an option for me. However, those options are on the table. There is contraceptives that is on the table for me. I think it's just extremely selfish for someone like me to go out, get pregnant, and then I decide, this wasn't in my planned parenting. So
I already have the 2 that I want.
I already have the 2 I want, so now I'm just going to, The other thing that I just wanted to just touch on, society hasn't even defined the boundaries of rape. What is rape? Because I was watching this thing, and this one lady she was legitimately raped and left for dead. She was busy dying, and a month after that she ended up in hospital again, and then they realized no, she's pregnant, and she was pregnant from her rapist. She's obviously a Christian, and I can't say obviously, but she was a Christian, and her husband obviously supported her and said, this is a gift and whatnot, and she raised this child. And the interviewer asked her in terms of how do you feel looking at this child? She's like, this child is a blessing. Then in the second interview, this lady, she defines it's her boyfriend. She told him she didn't want to get pregnant, but they were busy getting on with their whatever they process that they were getting on with. And midway through, he removes the condom, right?
Yeah.
Now at this point, it's now no longer consensual. They were in the heat of the moment.
It's called stealthing.
But is that rape? I'm just asking for a friend.
It is.
But-
It's considered as rape because I give you consent to have sex with you with a condom, but then during the whole process you remove it. That's why they call it stealthing, because you don't realize what's going on. I don't know how you don't realize
Yeah,
what's
because you
going
can
on.
feel the difference.
and she got
It's a hella difference.
and she got an abortion. So for me, it's like you were busy with.
She was
nonsense.
looking for an excuse.
That's what I'm saying. So we haven't. Even that for me is not a legitimate reason, because you
Okay.
already look. If you don't want it, then don't say no while sitting down and kissing and going through the thing. Get up and leave, because you're making the choice.
Wait.
Like, cool it.
Yeah. Because I feel like there's so many different circumstances, and it's so easy for us to say like, hey, why didn't you do this? You should have done this.
There is different
Yeah.
circumstances.
And yeah, this topic is so
What's your
hectic.
opinion?
I told you. For myself personally,
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Okay,
But if
you're
people,
empathetic.
yeah, if people feel that they need to do that, then they should. Because I just feel like
They should.
there's
but
so
why?
many kids that do not have parents. There's women that carry their babies to term and then leave them in the
So that's one of the
veld
topics
or
that I
wherever.
wanted to. So I wanted to bring up. So seeing that you're bringing it up, I wanted to bring up the versus abortion versus adoption. Right.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask you, if we take away abortion as a whole, and you say 95% of 90, how many percent?
95.
95% of
45.
people is going for abortion without the reason of being raped and all those things. If we take that away, right, does that mean there's 95% of kids in the system now
It's unwanted.
that's unwanted? Like, because remember, I can keep my pregnancy, but at the end
I
we
don't
go
want it,
for.
yeah.
So the reason why I'm bringing this up is there's also a TikTok, obviously, where we get our what's trending at the moment, is a lot of foster homes is complaining, why do we want to make abortion illegal? Because already my foster home, I cannot take
it's overrun.
another child. There's not enough adoptions happening. Foster homes are full. They're taking in more than they can. Financially, they can't keep up. All those kind of things. If we take away abortion, they're saying what's going to happen to all these kids that is unwanted, left at their doorsteps. Does that not increase the rate? Your opinion?
For me, it does. And I'm speaking now in the sense of what happens in government facilities. On average, like let's say out of 10, one child gets left for an adoption after the birthing process.
For every 10.
Yeah.
So
And how many people, give birth in a government hospital like per day?
You.
If you want to say per 10. Let us just, because in your mind, if you
Yeah.
say, only 10 people
Yes.
and one
No.
person. But how many? Because I've heard it's like
It's
a conveyor
belt.
It's a
yeah.
conveyor belt. Sometimes it really is a conveyor belt. You don't in your 12-hour shift, you don't get chance to sit down and even drink a cup of coffee.
So if I say as much as 400 per week, are we being realistic?
You are being under the bar.
Under the bar.
Wow.
And this is what I've heard from Bara.
Yes.
In terms
That's
of
Bara is way
yeah.
bigger than the facility where I work at.
Yeah.
And that's still under the bar.
And that's still under the bar for a
So
week.
let's just say, for example, for a week, what's the 10% of that 400? So you're saying 40 kids
40.
is
Okay.
being...
Let's be realistic. Out of that 400, we're working on a 400 now. Let's say 2 of that 400 get left behind. But the parents do, or the mother does have a grace period. I call it the grace period. I don't know what we actually do
But
call
the
it.
real term is.
Yeah. That if they do decide to come back and take their child, they're allowed to.
So me, I'm pregnant, I'm going in there, I'm delivering the child. However, I don't want the child. I can just decide to leave the child there.
Yes. And I
So
can't.
this is my problem. So we're remedying it.
Wait, don't tell people that.
No, it is my problem. My opinion is this. My opinion is this. We're remedying something like that by saying, let's not give this child the chance at life because their parent who made a decision doesn't want them. Right? So we're not going to give this child the right to life. Instead, to remedy that, we're going to make abortions okay so that we don't get our foster homes full. Instead, why is it not the law for people to not, because that is neglect, that should be abused to just leave your child there. I mean, if I'm at home, I take my child home and I leave my child in the room or the basket and I go out clubbing or whatever, that's neglect. You get charged for child neglect. So how is that not the same? I'm just trying to figure out.
And
where's
it
the
doesn't
logic
stop
coming
there.
from.
It doesn't
Because
just stop
when you're
there.
neglecting your baby, they grow up to be, a lot of the time, a dysfunctional adult in
Yes.
society. So it just never ends.
It's a never-ending cycle.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm not hearing is for grown-ups or people.
Responsibility.
I'm not
That's what I've been
hearing
also
it.
wanting to say.
I'm not
It's
hearing
not.
it.
It's not there. Not with the current laws we have in South Africa.
So
not
do what you want. It's fine.
It's fine. Government
I'm
will
just trying to
provide
understand this concept.
everything for you.
Because I did watch a TikTok where a woman and she's crying in this. She's a foster parent.
Okay, so based on that, I also want to go into the topic of the age thing, right? So in terms of, I've done a lot of research, and many a times, especially with South Africa, right, there's not actual stats in terms of this is how many, this is how many, this is how many, but majority of your abortions is underaged.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to also ask, are we not giving, and mostly also from rural areas, right? I was in a pageant once and we had to go speak at a school, right? And they asked me to speak about the keeping yourself until marriage because they wanted somebody who's done it before, but somebody young enough that's not like didn't
So
get
you can
married
relate to
at
them.
16 or
Yeah.
something. They wanted me to speak to the kids about waiting for marriage, basically. I was so shocked that maybe like out of all those kids, maybe 3 were actually virgins, right? And many of them came to me, showed me they have the whole implant thing and all of that. Yeah, in school. All of these things. They're showing me, the one is telling me they on this pill, the other one is telling me. I want to know, if you consent your child, if the hospitals allow for this, are we not, if I'm a mother, let's just say for this, and I tell Scarlett tomorrow, right? Just an example, and I tell Scarlett tomorrow, here's the pill in case. Am I not consenting to her that it's fine for you to go do what you're doing? It's fine for you to go lose your virginity right now. It's fine for you to do this. I want to know, me as an adult, a 32-year-old married woman with 2 kids, thinking about risks about the implant, right? How are we making it so okay for 13-year-olds to go get the implant, to be on the pill, to get whatever sort of thing there is, and say, right, as long as you don't fall pregnant. And then what happens? You don't take it at the right time. Remember, at this age, you're still very irresponsible. Your mother still tells you, did you do your homework? Your mother still does all these things. As much as even if you are from a rural area and you may be the one looking after your brothers and your sisters, there's still a point of immaturity when it comes to things that's before your time. Are we not also opening up these doors in terms of what we make legal in those senses?
We are actually, but then you look at the other side of the coin.
Sorry, because
It's
I
gonna
just want to
happen
say,
anyway.
I know it's going to happen
Yeah.
anyway. Things do happen anyway.
Yeah.
But if you don't, for the lack of a better term, if you don't make someone vice
Yeah.
of something,
Yeah.
it takes
not gonna
longer
know.
for them to
Yes.
get there.
Yeah.
But if I'm constantly speaking to 10-year-olds about sex,
Yes.
and I'm showing them how to use a condom, and I'm showing them how to do all of these things, but a pad is 54 rand. Is there not something wrong with society?
There is something definitely wrong with society.
Because are we giving away free condoms and saying it's to prevent certain things,
Yes,
but
but-
this child must use a cloth or tissue every day when they're on their period or they
Yes.
miss school?
Yeah.
I want to know, where are we at? Because now we even at the stage, I saw one Instagram thing that said, I don't know who posted it, but somebody posted, it's so sad to see how the devil is creeping in and nobody is realizing that it's him.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to make excuses for every form of action that
We're trying to justify
we
everything.
justify
Yes.
every single thing. So if you had to be like, let's say 16 to get the pill, right?
But how
Or
are we getting
even
the,
18
how are
or-
you getting? But kids are getting the pill and stuff at 16. What are the laws on
Even
statutory
younger
rape?
than 16.
9.
But my point is statutory rape. Like,
Yeah, it plays a big part.
but if you're giving your child contraceptives before the time, you have explained to your child why they're getting contraceptives.
But does your child understand what you are busy saying to her? That's the question. Because I can relay everything to someone who's sitting right in front of me, be like, if you take this, these are the side effects,
Yeah.
these are the pros, these are the cons, you need to take this at this time, every day at 8 you need to take this tablet, because if you miss a dose,
yeah,
you are
It's game
done
over.
for.
it's game over. I know a couple of
I know I
babies like
sent
this.
you a message once and I asked, listen here, because my body is going through a lot.
Yes.
This is what I do. I take a morning after once a week instead of taking the pill. And I asked you, what's
Yeah.
the problem with it? You were like, there's not really a problem based on the fact of that, but this is what will happen.
Yes.
But it's literally you taking the whole box
Yes.
at
And
once.
One shot.
Yeah. Okay, so sorry to jump in there quickly. As a nurse, what would you say is I wouldn't say the best birth control, but the birth control with the least risk? Is that a thing?
Everything has risks.
It's nothing.
Everything
Why
really
do you
has a
think
risk.
the males are so opposed to birth control? They are busy developing a birth control for males.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they
the
must
males are so opposed to it because of the
Side
the
effects.
side effects. But if you open a pamphlet of a triphasal
Yeah,
tablet,
it's
it's
like this.
like
Side of a
this.
blanket.
It's like this, and then you wonder, like, okay, it's fine for me to put this in my body,
But it's
but
not okay.
you don't want to even.
I must
you
do
know,
the work, all the work.
I must do everything.
Yeah.
I must take the pill. I must make sure I take the pill on time. I must remind you, hey, if we are going to do the deed, hey, at least
And if it happens, then I must carry the baby.
exactly.
Oh, and the consequences thereof.
Yeah.
Guys, can I just quickly jump in? It seems like we did have a problem with the comment section. However, it looks like it's back up. If you have a comment or would like to ask our professional something, please jump in. Can I go ahead and read a few of the comments? We've got you. According to my understanding, this is Leandra, our producer. According to my understanding of why the ruling was in favor of pro-lifers in the case of Roe versus Wade, it's because it was unconstitutional to begin with. Also, there is a controversy around Planned Parenthood, which is the reason why one of the reasons why was started as an attempt to control population of black people. And Roe versus Wade was founded on illegal terms. Because of this illegality, the practice of abortion became a capitalist ploy. I can see that, but the rest of the world just follows. Then from Xavier, the Hendricks family, the world is becoming a dark place. Feels like God needs to come already. Roe versus Wade was wrong from the start. So those are just our comments.
Okay, so on the Roe versus Wade thing, you know, if America does something, we all follow suit.
Yes.
I don't know. Everyone follows America for some odd reason.
Yeah.
If we have Americans watching the
And
show,
all
I
of
am
this
so
stuff is
sorry.
economic driven. No, but all of this stuff is economic driven.
You
There's
know,
always a reason
there
behind.
is profit behind everything, especially when it comes to America. There's profit behind contraception
Yep.
in America. There's profit behind insulin in America. Yeah, we hand out insulin and metformin tablets like it's candy. Our people don't follow the regimen. We hand out contraceptives on a get-go. We have free our government provided flavored condoms.
Wow, but we must pay for pads.
Yes.
My mind is just
Okay, but why are we not getting free pads?
because
So-
you nah.
It's not financially
It's
driven.
free
not financial-
pads.
yeah.
I mean, free condoms for a choice.
Yes.
Excuse
Choice.
the pun, it's called
Yeah.
choice. Whoa. So free condoms for choice.
Yes.
But every single woman
Yeah.
we're all supposed to, but obviously some people, it is a natural thing.
There's no choice involved.
There's
I'm
no
sorry.
choice
There's no
involved.
choice involved.
But it doesn't matter because only choices matter.
Yes.
I'm so
the play on words
stuck
here.
in where we are as a world.
We
and
are.
how people are not clever enough to be able to distinguish between what is right and what is wrong and how far can it go. So here's another thing I wanted to ask you, going back to the murder versus abortion, right? Many people that is pro-abortion is like, yes, mental health, it is our right, it's our this. But, so then somebody questioned them and said, so if I give birth and a month later I decide this is screwing up my mental health, am I allowed to kill the child? And then they said, are you mad? That's murder. So I want to know from you guys, where do you guys think it is? I know we have spoken lightly about it, but like straight out, what is your take on why you think it's murder as a fetus versus why it's murder as a born child?
For me personally, we've just established that a fetus has arms, legs, and a heartbeat. That for me is a child. Maybe not in full development, but there's life. So for me, that's and it for me it equates to the same thing. I think it's important that women are schooled that postnatal depression is a thing. You know, and I there's many women who's not schooled on this. That doesn't have the necessary help for this. I mean, I experienced it not knowing that I experienced it. I thought it was normal. I was.
Yeah, you're going through the motions.
You're going through the motions. Oh, this is what it is like.
Yeah.
I must just go through it. Some women experience it a lot more, to the point where they actually do commit murder. And no judgment there, because having been partially in that state myself, I have some sort, not condoning it, some sort of understanding. But I think it's very important that support be provided to women going through postnatal depression. And when you by the third child, I think also us as women, we should now also say, we know what this takes, so maybe we should act with caution.
Yeah. I have a question. I'm not sure if you have kids, but for the two of you,
How she has family kids.
I'm a good aunt.
Same. How soon, into your pregnancy, did you start to feel a bond with your baby?
Or movement.
Everybody, I suppose, is different when it comes to the movement, because that depends on the baby itself, if they're busy or not.
I think with my first pregnancy, I only felt movement at 7 months. However, I absolutely loved my pregnancies. Bearing in mind, I didn't want to be pregnant.
Okay.
At first, when I got married, that was a deal breaker in our marriage, and I've mentioned that before. I didn't want to, but knowing that I was pregnant changed it like a flip coin. It was like, you feel that something, for me, that was my experience. I felt something was growing inside. And for me, it was like, I couldn't begin to imagine not having that. And the fear of losing that baby or the fetus was intense. And I had a miscarriage right after mine. Now, very few people know this. I've never shared this. So I was 12 weeks, and I had which is still very...
It's your first trimester.
First trimester.
Oh.
We were excited. We were going. We went to Durban, came back from Durban, went to the doctor. Doctor said, there's nothing there. I'm like, what do you mean there's nothing there? Because we had the test, all said positive, what. And then came back, he said, no, you have to go for the blood test to see whether it's viable. It wasn't a viable pregnancy. So all of that, it works in the back of your mind. You have to go through the emotions. You have to... No, but I've never...
awful.
I think some people had it worse. I've had a friend that lost a baby at 5 months. Also and the trauma, the trauma is intense. Anybody else?
Yeah, so based on what you were saying, because what you were asking, when do you feel the bond or whatever like that. Like, I also always say, before Scarlett, I also had a miscarriage. I was on the pills to fall pregnant again. We only wanted kids 2 years later. But because of the scariness of the miscarriage, we forced to fall pregnant immediately. Went on that 5-day tablet. I don't know what it's called, like, so that you fall pregnant within those 5 days. And then having Scarlett. For me, when I was pregnant with Isaiah, I enjoyed it up until a certain point, until finding out that Scarlett is deaf. Then, I'm not going to lie, this is when the game changed for me. I was terrified of having another child, because then my mind went to, what if the same thing happens? Then fear came upon myself and my husband, and we were like, what if you get all the other things? There's Down syndrome, there's this, there's that, there's that. And but by then Isaiah was already 8 months in my tummy when we found out Scarlett was deaf. So it was like tush tush tush. I'm not gonna lie, I have thought, because I heard there's some Lennon's product that's going around in the colored community that you drink for an abortion. Don't say the name.
Don't tell people these
That's why I'm saying, don't say the name, what it is.
I have not heard
But
of this.
I know two
Moving along
people.
swiftly.
Yes,
I know two
moving
people
along.
that has actually
Yeah.
done it, and they haven't told the family. So I'm not going to say
Yeah.
who it is and stuff. And kind of told their partners they had a miscarriage and went to the hospital as if it was a miscarriage and everything. But in actual fact, they took stuff in order
like
to
far
lose the
along or
baby.
still
No,
early?
still in the beginning, like
Oh.
The
within
beginning
that.
stages,
But
probably.
they just drank something, and then it was. And I'm not gonna lie, after hearing all those stories and stuff like that, I did kind of get to a point where I questioned if I ever must fall pregnant again.
Would you consider it?
I would consider abortion. And it played on my mind all the time. And I have many friends from school that had abortions, and I see how they're still struggling in their 30s
To fall pregnant.
Some are struggling to fall pregnant, but that's mostly because they went on contraception way too early. So they in their 30s. I have a friend that's like almost 36 already. She started contraceptives at 16 and been married 8 years, still nothing. And but the ones that I'm saying struggle when they had an abortion, in terms of they're at the point now in their 30s struggling to meet somebody because they're still struggling with that fact.
Yeah, it's
So
baggage.
it played a big part that contributes now to every relationship, to how it goes. And I mean, I sat with this and I'm like, how would you feel? All these kind of things, the consequences, would I be okay with it? And I got to the point where I was like, I don't think morally it sits right with me. But I have thought about it. I have researched what you can take. I have done all those things in terms of, if this happens, I really don't need this in my life again. So, not in an ugly way. I love my children dearly. But after you have kids and you're at your point, like you said, you know you just wanted this. I have my pigeon pay. So I did sit with the fact where I thought, do I really want to go to 3?
But what did you do? You took the responsibility of, they are my kids, I must raise them. It's not like they can go anywhere.
No, but I'm meaning now afterwards.
Yeah.
Because this abortion thought is after my 2 kids.
Okay.
It was literally even like a year ago. If we fall pregnant, because I haven't been on anything since Isaiah was born. So your mind goes to,
Or the what ifs.
it's not in the plan,
Yeah.
because we at the stage where we can go on holidays with the kids. We're at the stage where you can go on hikes with the kids. Nobody wants to go back to sleepless nights and those kind
Uncle
of
wants
things.
that.
So it has played.
my Brudinas, guys.
It does play a part, but I think it's very important for you to think about your emotions. Do some research where people do speak about it, people that have gone through abortions. I want to read a few testimonials of people that has gone through abortions. Someone says, I sit and picture all day what my baby would have looked like when I look at my current kids, because it would have been the oldest kid,
Yes.
right? Someone says, I pretend like it didn't happen, because if I must think about it for even a minute, I won't be able to face reality. Someone says, guilt. That's all I can say. Guilt. Someone says, the pain you do yourself stays with you for the rest of your life. And then I was telling you about the cancer. This person explained the whole cancer situation. So someone also spoke about the fact that as much as they were happy in the time, they did it at a young age. But now they at the age of maturity, it plays on their mind. This was someone's life. Now that they realize what a life is. So I just feel like there is a lot of things. If there is somebody that has gone through abortion and you are and now your mind is at the point of, I wish I didn't, please do speak up about it and let the young girls know the implications on it, not only in terms of health, in terms of your mental health, because the world is screaming. It's for the sake of my mental health. Tell us, what is it doing to your mental health after you've
done the
already
whole procedure.
had a procedure? What was the experience? Because apparently I heard it's like pain. Or every
it's
woman
like giving,
was
it's like
saying
giving
it's
birth.
pain, 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 pain.
It's basically the whole giving birth process.
Just much earlier.
Like your
Just
body
much-
contracts.
It's contractions, everything.
The body's
just
amazing. I know we shouldn't be talking about that now with this, but like, wow.
Yeah.
I just feel like,
But wait,
Go.
Anka, before like the people who go for backyard abortions, who take products that I apparently don't know the products.
You'll go find out now.
Yes, I will. And then now you are there, you are bleeding out. Now you go to a government facility who's already overrun. People are already overworked. Just because you didn't want to take the proper steps. We have facilities available. Like I said, I am all against it, but in a professional sense, we need to let people know that there are facilities available, there are steps to be taken if you want to make this choice. So do it from the get-go. Don't these posters we see on the polls.
Yeah,
Oh,
a lot
yeah,
of
with the
South
phone
Af-
number.
Abortion 074. Wow, wow, wow.
all of
Yeah.
South
Yeah.
African testimonials did that.
Yes, so now
though.
you busy, like Ben said, you busy scraping out the fetus with a fork. Now you go to a government facility. First of all,
so brutal.
yes, when you come in, I don't know what's wrong with you. You are bleeding. The first thing I think of, obviously, we always say, why are our clinic sisters like this? Because the moment you walk into a clinic as a woman, the first thing we always ask you is, are you pregnant?
Yeah.
And then we make you take a pregnancy test. Because we need to rule out that first.
Yeah.
Where your pain's coming from, why are you bleeding, what is happening, do you have cancer? It's things we need to rule out before we even
Treat you for anything.
anything. So we need to, now you go to a facility, it's overrun, it's overworked, it's overburdened. We don't know what's wrong with you. You don't want to tell us what happened because you are scared that I did a backyard abortion, now I'm going to go to jail, which is not the fact. We all know our system.
System was.
Unfortunately, sorry, Dean.
Name dropping.
dropping. I just want to say real quick before we end off. I was watching this thing, and the pro-abortionists and whatever, they were saying that because this law was passed, they are going to go on a sex strike. This is
I saw a lot of celebrities doing that.
And I'm thinking, yes, guys, do something right in your lives for once. Go on your
first
sex
time.
strike. You'll be saving everyone a lot more. And guess what? No
You
kids
won't
to
have
abort.
to do exactly. I say there is so much things, and you know now I'm always somebody that says, as much as I am a Christian, a lot of my things I do try and be open-minded.
Yes.
I do try and have empathy for those that don't believe in my morals, in my values and all those things. But again, I go to, guys, there is so many things that there is a right and a wrong answer. And you will take away so many unnecessary baggage if you just decide to live a certain way and follow a certain way. It can be whatever it is, because I know in other religions as well, sex before marriage is not a
frowned
thing.
upon, yeah.
It's frowned upon. So it's not even about a religious thing. It's just because people that have come before us know the baggage. They know everything they come. You know when you say, don't do it because I've done it for you? It's literally one of those things. And I really trust that as our viewers, you guys, if you have done it and we did say something that is offensive in any way, we are really sorry if it took you a certain way, but this is our personal opinions. What your opinion is your opinion. Our opinion is based on our personal look at life, our personal religion, our personal, all those kind of things. But if you are somebody that has done it, I plead, as you go forth, just think about the bigger picture and think about how you can sustain in certain areas of life for you not to get to the point of, why do I need to make this decision? And that is what I have to say. Do you guys have anything you would like to say in closing? It's going to be load shedding right now.
So opinions closing.
We need to go back to basics.
Yeah.
We need to start at a certain point where, you know, in life orientation. I don't know if they still do ELO in school.
They do, but they literally just do PE. They're not allowed to speak about God. They're not allowed to speak
so,
about
yeah.
a lot of things. LO is literally just sex education now.
Yeah, so with ELO, when we did ELO and they were like, don't smoke, you're going to die. Don't drink, you're going to die.
Still there drinking
You're
and
gonna,
smoking.
you're gonna end up homeless, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. They like paint you this grim picture of why you should not be doing certain things before your time. So we need to go back to basics and educate, especially our young children. We need to educate our children on what they are doing, what they are watching, who they are listening to, who their friends are. I mean, I can't be a 10-year-old with a 17-year-old friend or a 10-year-old with a 21-year-old boyfriend. Let's just...
Yeah.
So...
Topic for another
Yes.
day.
Parents need to also take responsibility. I know we're all busy with this. This life is lifing.
Yeah.
It is life,
But I
you
think
guys.
also we need to like work on updating the system of education, because I feel like people are not grasping it anymore.
We updating it in the wrong
I
areas.
was about to say there's many updates.
It's
according
just
to
in the
me.
wrong, like for me,
Just the wrong way.
I just can't believe how certain things is seen as accepted and things that actually matter.
Yeah, morals and values, they are not in our
But-
education system
yes.
anymore. Respect is not there anymore.
And I think me and Xavier had this conversation. We take certain things for granted. We were raised in a certain way. That's why our thought patterns
Yeah.
are in a certain way. And the scary part is we have to raise kids in the society. I mean, when I first had my first child, I was terrified, where am I going to send my child? Because I don't want my child to be influenced with whatever is going on out there. You know, I'm not saying let's sell a propaganda to our kids. You must create a healthy child that can express themselves and all of that, but within the boundaries of morals, you know. And that was the biggest thing. So when we looked at schools, we don't compromise on our child's school because we know what they're getting is wholesome. And it took us some begging and some pushing for that to happen, because that wasn't the case. I had to go to a private school, and what I was getting there was like, I was shook. Why am I paying for the things I don't want? Not going to happen. It's just scary that our kids have to grow up in this environment. But yes, morals is a thing. We mustn't take it for granted. We must just keep instilling it going forward.
Amen.
So thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of abortion.
Oh, this was so interesting.
It was really interesting. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Mira,
Thank
for
you.
coming in
It's a
and giving us
pleasure.
the background, because as
background.
much as you want to just say, we do need to know what are the actual laws and what are those kind of things. And as much as we just want to say it is wrong, do know that there is people that
doing
is
this.
there doing it. It's reality, and that is the process to follow. Go and seek guidance before you make any decision.
Before you make any
Yeah.
decision, before
And
you
do
go
research.
to... Yes.
There's
Research.
videos and stuff of women who've done this. Go and do your and don't get the first one that just agrees with you. Do
Yes.
proper
Do
research.
So thank you so much for joining us. I hope you guys enjoyed today's topic. I know it was a topic that's people are scared to speak about it, because one thing I did actually want to ask, but I'm just going to say it in closing and then you can discuss it at home, is that it's funny how society wants to make abortion okay, but it's yet frowned upon. Those same people that do have abortions will never mention it in a room, like, via a sip of coffee. So how was your day? Oh no, I just went for abortion this week.
Yeah.
So I feel like, when something is frowned upon, there is a reason why it is being, there's some truth to it. So just think about those things, go talk about it at home and let us know what you guys came up with. Thank you so much for joining, and hope to see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Don't